This beachfront photo is about to become part of an unforgettable vacation memory.
It does look good.
Be the hero of your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, forget about whatever financial disasters you've had, personal failures, relationship failures. What would the hero of your life's movie do right now? Do that. Do those things. We define ourselves far too often by our past failures. We look at our past and we say, well, that's me. That's not you. You are this person right now. You're the person who's learned from those failures. And you can choose to be the hero of your own movie right now. Write down your goals. Write down things you want to improve. Write down things you won't tolerate from yourself. Write down things you've done in the past you never want to see yourself do again. And go forth from here as the hero of your own movie. Build momentum. Build confidence and momentum with each good decision that you make from here on out. You can do it. Anyone can do it. We live in unique times. We live in one of the rarest times in human history where you can choose almost all of the input that comes your way. Whether it's the movies that you watch, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, you can choose to be inspired. Do that. Do that. And be the hero of your own movie.
Okay, so somebody tell me what you heard. Somebody tell me something that you heard that he said.
You could choose.
You can choose. The choice is yours. What else?
Write things down.
Write things down. Okay, what else?
Write down things from your past you don't want.
Write down the things from your past that you don't want to repeat, right? How many times do we just think about them all the time? We just think about them all the time. And how much energy do they give you? Zero. They give you zero energy, right? As a matter of fact, it's kind of like trying to run a marathon with concrete blocks on your feet, right? It takes a lot of energy. So with that being said, I want you to be very cognizant of the fact that if you will write them down and choose to learn from them, they're no longer a failure, ladies. Now they're a learning lesson, a lesson learned and something that gives you power because you got through it, right? And so I just want to remind you today, and the overarching theme of today is that you are already so badass, it's not even funny, okay? And you guys have done hard things, okay? You guys have done hard things in your life, and you're making things happen. How many of you started your business in the last year to 18 months? Okay, raise your hand, okay? Very good, so a year to 18 months, all right? You started in a pandemic, okay? Like the world has never seen that before, and you found the guts to start a business. How many of you maintained your business and are still here after surviving the pandemic, right? Okay, yeah. That's a big deal, but how many of you have even taken the time to say, look at what we did. Look at how we did it, okay? And we're still on target to have our best year ever. Third year record-breaking. So I want you to understand that that's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I want to remind you, secondly, so like you're already a badass. I also want to remind you that you're the only one who can be the hero of your story. Nobody else is going to come in and fix it for you. Nobody else even knows what you probably need fixed, right? Or need to address or want to look at or where you want to go. Nobody knows that but you. So if there's something you don't like, if there's something that's hurting you, if there's something that's causing you problems, that is your mountain to move, okay? And I will tell you that there is a pain associated with moving a mountain. There is a far greater pain with not. And it is called regret. And so my real love for you today calls me to say, please, God, please, do not let these women live a life where they have regrets. And that is going to require action. And one thing that just stood out for me in this video, and what I know for sure as an almost 42-year-old woman and a business owner of almost 2 decades, is that if you want to be your own hero, it requires you to be brave, and it requires you to be bold, and you have got to know yourself. You have got to know yourself, okay? You have to know what you believe, and you have to know what you will allow. Did you hear him say? You have to know what you will allow for yourself, and what you will allow of yourself, and what you will not, okay? How many of you, that is a new thought? You have never thought that. And don't be shy, like be honest with yourself. Like if you've not thought the thought, I will not allow this for myself, or I have allowed this of myself for too long, okay? It's okay if it's a new thought, but if you go forward not looking at it, now it is on you, right? It is on us if we choose not to learn from it. okay? And when we don't have clear boundaries in these areas, life feels challenging. It really does. And you will hold yourself back, or you will allow other people to hold you back. Think about it this way. If you're a shero, okay, and you're allowing yourself to be everything to everyone, to do it all for everyone, it's literally like a shero trying to leap a tall building while carrying groceries, a baby, a toddler, their kid's band instrument, a basket of laundry, and the husband's fishing rod. Like, how high do you think the girl's gonna get, okay? And like, we can laugh about it now, but the truth is, that's how some people are living their lives. We're trying to be everything and do everything for everyone, and then we're surprised when it's not faring so well. Can we all agree? Like, is that an amen? I'm not hearing everyone clapping. That's all I'm saying. The truth, you guys, is that the truth of being a shero, there is no S on our chest. We are not superhuman. We are superhumans. Does that make sense? And so I want you to understand, you are not called to be everything to everyone. You are not called to do everything for everyone. And unless you have clearly outlined what you will do and what you will not do, and what is yours to do and what is not yours to do, you're going to keep trying to do it all. Because that's what the world tells us we should do. Does that make sense, you guys? I don't know. Is that helping anybody?
Yeah.
And so more than ever before, I feel like women now, more than ever before, are spread 8 miles wide and a 1/4 inch deep. And the truth is, we should be a 1/4 inch wide and 8 miles deep. That is, I think, one of the true joys in life, is figuring out what you are and what you're not, and what matters to you and what really doesn't. And so with that being said, one of the things that I will tell you is that right now it is loud out there. It is loud and everybody has an opinion. I know that some of you have told me you're coming into this event exhausted and overwhelmed from the voices. Can we all just get an amen?
Amen.
Okay. And people, they all feel called to tell you their opinion now, and very publicly. Thank you, social media. And there's so much like guilt and shame and anxiety about it. And I just want to bring it right out here into the light, where that can all die a fast death. Because if we will be willing to talk about it, it has no power anymore. You guys, you are not supposed to do everything for everyone and be everything for everyone. But how do we combat this? And what's more, how do we grow and become better? Like, continue making progress with ourselves and our lives when this is the climate that we're surrounded in. I promise you it can still be done. And I actually think it's pretty simple. We have to know ourselves and our values, and we have to define those boundaries so that we know how we're going to operate and how we're going to allow ourselves to be treated. And I will tell you that when you have boundaries in place, when you know what you will do and what you will not, and you can speak that clearly to others, you will have the most peaceful and joy-filled life possible. And what's more, you will have the best, healthiest relationships of your life. I think a lot of women spend a lot of time being angry at people who have crossed their boundaries, and they only crossed them because you didn't tell them otherwise. Okay? Is anybody going, oh, it's okay, hang in there, okay? So how do you figure out what your boundaries are? How do you figure it out? It's kind of a big question and it's abstract. And so to support you in finding your answers, I'm gonna pose another kind of concept. Life has an accumulation effect, okay? And this means that your current situation and the way your life looks or feels is the accumulation of your choices and responses and what you've allowed for yourself in the last 5 years. So let me say that again. In the last 5 years, the choices you've made, the value you've assigned to situations that have occurred, and the just basically the way that you've lived your life, that has accumulated what you now have today. And I think if you can have enough tenderness and enough courage to look at that, it will show you some things that you would do again and some things that you would not. Is that true? Is that true? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a piece of paper, and this is a page out of the book of Sheri, okay? And it is cardstock, okay? And the reason I'm giving you cardstock is because I want you to keep it with you. Anything that's important, Sheri says, needs to go on cardstock. And you're fine. And so Sam is going to pass these around. And what's going to happen is I want you to take this with you places. And I want you to look at it often. So mine goes in my date book, okay? And what you're going to do, okay, is you're going to write at the top what I will allow of myself. What I will allow for myself. Now, what's the difference? What's the difference between what I will allow of myself and what I will allow for myself? This is your choice. This is your conduct. This is how other people treat you. Does that make sense? What I will allow of myself, that's how you will operate. That is how you will allow yourself to operate. What I allow for myself, this is how others will treat you. So, can somebody give me an example of what you will allow of yourself? Somebody give me an example. Yes, Erica.
I will allow myself to set boundaries.
I will allow myself to have boundaries. I love that, to set them and to maintain them with other people. What about something that you will allow for yourself? What will you allow for yourself?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, because I'm not perfect. Okay? Now, on the other side, you're going to write what I will not allow of myself. And what I will not allow for myself. So, again, what you control, how others treat you. So what is something that you will not allow of yourself? Yes, Jade?
Excuses.
Excuses that will rob her of what she wants most. What else? Somebody give me one more. Yeah, Erica.
Laziness.
Laziness. I will not give up my dreams to being complacent and lazy, right? What is something you will not allow for yourself? Abuse. No one is going to mistreat me. And I'm going to decide right now what that is. Okay? And you guys, when you start setting boundaries, people aren't going to like it. Because you've allowed yourself to maybe be treated differently in the past. It is okay. I will allow myself to be okay when other people are pissed. Does that make sense? So I want you throughout the day to think about this and to continue adding to this. And then I want you to write it down. I want you to write down what you will allow of yourself and for yourself and what you will not. And I want us to talk about this today at lunch because the more clear you are on this, the better your life feels. And if we are going to change our world and be our own hero, we need some energy to do that. And this is where it comes from. Everybody thinks it's in a drink or a pill or a lack of Diet Coke, and it is not. Okay, it is not, okay? So with that being said, you guys, and as we establish some new thought processes here today, did this help anybody? Did this help? Good, good. Yes. You liked it. I was on it. Good, I love it. No, Shruti didn't say anything. I'm just teasing.
I'm marveling at how soft this card sucks.
Oh my God. You are such a geek. She was standing in my driveway taking pictures with my baby Yoda doll. And tell them what happened.
Oh, so she was gone and I left with the baby Yoda and Sam was like, where are you going with my mom's guy?
He thought she was stealing my stuff.
He has your back.
He does. I'm the kid's boy. And so you guys, as we establish some new thought processes and we really decide what our life is going to look like, and we're going to hook ourselves up for our best life, not just the life we settle for or the one that we accept, but the one that we design. You're going to have some how-to needs, right? How can we build this business better and faster? And so I do want to share with you someone who's a master at that, and she is one of my best friends in the entire world. And it's so funny the differences between the types of friends because Frank sent me hers and it's all paragraphed and Shruti's are bullet points. So I love it. I love that they're so different because they make me better in so many ways. But Emily Shruti is going to train you on something that I think is going to be a total game changer, not only for your businesses, but for our unit. Because how many of you love this group that you're with today? Woo! How many of you are just so excited to see each other? Can you imagine what it would look like if there were 4 times as many of us? New people to share and play in our sandbox, okay?
Yeah.
And so Shruti started her business in October of 2004, and she debuted as a sales director in 2006. She's